Hi, I'm Libby from Hero Arts, and I'm at Scrapbook.com filming videos to tell you all about Hero Arts Reactive ink Reinkers. Reactive inks are a hybrid ink that's a blend of pigment and dye ink, and each color has its own reinker. They are of course used to re-ink your ink pads, but I like to do some watercoloring techniques as well. So I'm going to show you both. I'm going to show you how to re-ink your ink pad, and then we're going to do some watercoloring. So to re-ink your ink pad, you begin by giving the little re-inker bottle a good shake. And to re-ink it, you just squeeze and run the ink along your pad like this, letting it all soak in. Once I have the ink there, I kind of go back with the inker bottle and rub it a little bit more. And then I go on the other direction as well. Now my ink pad will be good and juicy, and I always like to have a very full, juicy pad when I'm going to do ink blending with these reactive inks. So I'm going to show you today how to do an ink blended background with the reinkers used as watercolors. To go with this card I'm making, I'm going to use a die from Hero Arts called the Earth Nature Fancy Die. This die is a two-piece die. It has a frame and also the inner part. You can use them together or separate. I die cut some from black paper just to show you what it looks like. So this is if I use both dies together, I get a standalone oval, and you can see it's a cute earth nature scene with animals and ocean life. I love this die. I think it's so pretty. It's great to use as a silhouette on a card, but I like to watercolor it as well. And here's the example of when you only use the inside portion, take the frame away, and that way you can have it cut right into the front of your card panel. So since we're beginning with the background piece of this card, I want to have this oval next to my card so I can figure out where I want the sky portion to be and where I want the sea to be. I'm going to use different colors for the sky versus the ocean. So I'm going to take some of my reactive inks. I'm going to start with the sky. So I'm going to put some dots of reactive, and again, you want to shake them up before you put them on your palette. You can use any kind of palette. A little bit of this ink goes a long way, so I'm just putting a little dot of each color I'm going to use. And a little bit of blue Hawaii. And I've already put down fruit punch, creamsicle, and lemon drop. So for my background, I'm going to begin by wetting the whole surface. So I'm doing a wet on wet technique. I'm going to get my water brush flowing with water. And I'm just going to go ahead and rub the whole background. I'm using watercolor paper so it doesn't pill. And I'm going to get the whole thing wet with some water. And then eyeballing this to remember where I want my sky to start. I'm going to start with the red. And I'm going to go ahead and put that right along here. So you can see it's kind of lining up where my sky is going to begin. I love how that flows, just like watercolor. I'm going to get a little bit of that off my brush and then go in with the orange. I'm doing kind of a rainbow type sunset in the background. Just trying to blend the colors together as I go. And then a little bit of that lemon drop. And now I'm going to go in with the blue raspberry. I'm going to do that whole area in blue raspberry. And then just add a little dab of the blue Hawaii. Going back and forth to blend them together. Now since this is watercolor, you wanted to be careful. I wanted to be careful that I didn't go too close together, else it would all come together. There is a little bit of a barrier there, but I just wanted to make sure it's not going to become a big blended mess. And now I'm going to set this aside to dry. And I'm going to replace my black silhouette outline with a piece that I die cut from watercolor paper. And now I'm going to switch to a smaller water brush, and I'm going to begin coloring in my image, my die cut image. And I love how it has a little elephant and giraffe and rhino and a whale. So I'm going to need some more colors to really make this scene come to life. I'm going to need some gray, which is our fog color. When I'm doing a die cut scene like this, I like to start in one area and kind of move around a lot so I'm not going in areas right next to each other and making the ink blend together too much. And again, I like to use two colors together to kind of give it some interest. So I'm going to put a little tiny bit of orange in there with my giraffe. Next, I'm going to go down to the whale, make him gray, but I'm going to add in a little purple to give him a little interest as well. That was a little bit darker than I intended. One great thing when you're watercoloring, if you have a little more ink on than you planned, you can always take your paper towel and dab off the extra. And that's more what I was going for. Going with a dab more gray. You see in this image there's a lot of branches, and I don't have a brown reactive ink, but that's no problem. I'm going to just create my own brown. I'm going to take another little bit of gray of the fog, and I'm going to mix that together with some fruit punch. And maybe a little bit of the lemon drop as well, until I get a color that's a brown that I like. That's a great thing about these reinkers. You can mix them together just like you would mix watercolors. I'm going to put that on my branches. One thing I like to do to finish off the edges on an image like this is go ahead and take some water and get the area wet, and I kind of come in from the outside with my water and blend out the color. So again, I'm adding more color around the edges, and then I come in with water and just blend that out. I have one that I did earlier that's already dry. I'm going to set this one aside to dry and show you how I put this card together. So here is a card front that I watercolored earlier, and it's already dry. And I have a background that's already dry as well, and I've adhered it to a top folding card. And I'm going to go ahead and put this right on top of that with some foam adhesive. So I'm going to put some foam adhesive on the back of my panel to be able to put it onto my card front. Pull off that release paper. Okay. Then the last thing my card needs is a message. I'm going to use a message from the Beautiful World stamp set. This is the message set. It has really lovely sayings. I'm going to use the "I'm glad I live in this beautiful world with you." I'm going to use a little rectangle piece of watercolor paper and my Hero Arts Intens-ified black ink. Okay, and now I'm going to use liquid adhesive to adhere my sentiment to my card. I think I'll put the message right there, and I'll use some of my Hero Arts precision glue, and I'll just set that right in that area and let the glue dry. And there's a beautiful watercolored card using Reactive ink reinkers from Hero Arts. Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more from Scrapbook.com, please like, share, subscribe, and leave a message. Happiness is life handmade.